And now I would like to give the floor to Monika Lesti, who is going to tell us why it seemed to be a good idea back then and what kind of experience they have with the support of esports. Yes, welcome everyone. I'm a true outsider here, so I understood probably quarter of the previous presentation, but there is a bank, KNH, here in Hungary, where I'm employed. We are the second biggest bank on the Hungarian market, and all in all, our main support areas include sports. That's one of our main sponsorship areas. Here you see some details about the different branches, different types of sports which were already supported by us. One of them is competitive sport, mainly in the support for the handball, Hungarian Handball League, but there are other types of championships supported by the bank. We also support mass sport. The biggest, most well-known is the running day at Budapest, and we also support para sports. And within this area, we realized last year that e-sport is worth trying out because it's a new segment and it's gaining popularity. And as we heard it before, we cannot reach this target group with traditional channels, and so we wanted to give it a try, give it a go. It happened last September, end of the summer, when this idea was finalized. And I must say this wasn't an easy road, it was a bumpy road, because at a big company there is always some pushing back when it comes to sponsorships, and the arguments came up, violent games, it shouldn't be connected to a bank, a traditional bank like us, and so on. But after a long round of negotiations, we managed to win, and we still consider it as an experiment. We will see how it works, whether we can actually reach new demographics with this channel. Before making the decision, we also checked some research and studies. We talked with experts, and the age group which we would like to reach the most, basically from 14, 18 to 22, 23, the main factor for them is the internet. That's how you can reach them. And if you take a look at this particular study, it shows that it's their lifeline. That's how they survive, with the internet. The second argument is that this generation does not watch TV and they block ads. So we have to do an activity which somehow avoids these channels and still manages to reach this generation. We mainly sponsor events, and that's how we entered this market as well. We have our own research carried out. This spring we did a research. We asked 800 people in the age group of 20 to 65, and we asked what's their approach, relation to esports. And I also recognized some of these statements before, because most of them knew what esport is, who are esport athletes, what kind of games are we talking about, and they know that esport is an organized, competitive championship played by professional athletes, players, It's a sort of a mental sport, uh, like the chess of the 21st century. And they also know that more and more Hungarian sport clubs have e-sport branches, offices, divisions. So it seemed that most of the people have an idea about the field. I don't think that I have to go over all of the statements. It simply was a feedback for us, a positive feedback about the fact that we are going down the right road, and that this sport has a future here in Hungary, and we have to support it just like the other traditional sports. After we confirmed this, our first sponsored event was organized last September, the KNH E-Cup FIFA 19. This is a harmless game. We were quite careful, no shooting involved, no negative criticism, no losing of face for us. It was really safe. So that was the first official FIFA championship done in the MTK arena. There were 128 participants. It was organized by professionals, not by us, of course. It was played on PlayStation 4. And as additional activities, we cooperated with a vlogger who talked about this topic and created content about this championship before the event and also during the event. He also made some videos after the event. Of course, we've done some traditional press conferences. We had a Facebook game as well. The winner was Gábor Molnár. Here you can see him on the picture. And actually, there were quite many articles published, 146 precisely, about this cup alone, which is quite a nice number for us. And the media value represented is 20.8 million Hungarian forints. So that was our first attempt, and we considered, evaluated this as excellent. So we've done something else as well. The Hungarian National E-Sport Championship finished this April. Here we supported different games, not the whole championship, and we were the sponsors of given games, 3 games, and we also had to carefully select these games because we tried to choose more peaceful games, let's say. We used the same kind of tools as before. We communicated with the press. We organized a press conference. We had press releases, and we had an activity on site as well. We also engaged some influencers in the whole project. You can see some of the figures. I don't know how much you know about these, but bottom line is that we had a nice media reach with this. So these are our experimental first baby steps, and we are going to continue this year. We are going to organize a similar type of e-championship this year as well, and we also have a plan that besides we are going to mix somehow physical sports and esports. So we are going to have a half marathon in Siófok, and we are going to have a gamer round actually, where we would like to mix. So we hope that gamers with fit gamers are going to come to this race. That's all I wanted to say. present to you today, and we hope that this kind of support is going to be extended over time, and we are going to support e-sport besides traditional sports as well. Thank you very much for your attention.